You're listening to the Meadows and Makers podcast with Making Stuff and Jack Dunn. Making Stuff and Jack Dunn. Hi, you're listening to the Meadows and Makers podcast with Making Stuff and Jack Dunn. Making Stuff and Jack Dunn. Making Stuff and Jack Dunn.
Hello, one and all, and welcome to another week of the Meadows and Makers podcast, brought to you here on MSP Waves. And this is a show. My name is Greg Dowd. I am the host of this show, and this is a podcast that I got into originally with my buddy I met on Steam It here, Jack Dub, and this is a show is all about, I try to bring on guests that are trying to get out of the system as it currently stands, become more self-reliant and more opting out of the current system and trying to do their best to live in a more self-reliant lifestyle and things like that. So it's what I try to center the topics around and try to bring people on that are more into that mentality, and it's something that I hold dear in my heart. About a year ago, maybe not. It's been over a year now, but August of, let's see, I guess it was 2018. August of 2018, I left a corporate job as a government contractor to start a venture to go off the grid and build a a solar powered trailer, which I documented on the Steemit blockchain, and I got that out there for everyone to look at and to try to replicate as well, and looking to share more information with people on how to become more self-reliant in their everyday lives as I go on that journey myself. I took a house that I had in the city and I sold that house so I could move out to a place that I had bought out in the county, and it was the future vision of the place is to kind of be like a permaculture homestead and a hacker maker space for bringing in people to teach self-reliance workshops and how to do things like produce your own energy through solar power, how to filter water, how to grow food, how to use a lot of the current off-the-shelf technologies that we have that are out there in the market to make yourself a producer. Or as I kind of, there's a term, there's also another term is a prosumer. So you're a producer and a consumer of goods. So from my research, I've done several years of research. Probably back in 2009, I started to research a lot of different technologies that were off the shelf that you could buy, and people that are looking to set up, their systems for their own self-reliance and abundance generation. That these things could be either replicated in some way, if there's an open source technology that exists, or if there's an off-the-shelf technology that exists for a good price, that you could start to slowly build these systems up, and or you know network with a group of people to build these systems up so that you could become more self-reliant yourself. And so one of the things that I hold as a personal philosophy is that all humans are abundance generators. It's simply the system as it stands that has programmed us to live in a mentality of scarcity and fear. And if you can get past that scarcity and fear, uh, well, so inertia, you bring up the point, prosumer, professional level consumer. Uh, that may be the case. Yeah, I may not have that definition right. But so this is what I mean by saying that, though, as a producer and consumer of goods. Um, so anyway, I believe that we all have the ability to be able to create the uh, sets of tools that we need to create a world of abundance. So, uh, using a lot of the current technology and off-the-shelf technology that's out there right now. So my background is in engineering, and I went on this journey a while ago and just started to look up a lot of the different tools to do this. So it was part of my life was as a research engineer at UAH, the University of Alabama in Huntsville. And during that time as a research engineer, yeah, yeah, I try to keep up with the chat. It does throw things off a little bit. But as my time as a research engineer, it was uh, part of it was doing some materials research, and especially in understanding uh, how abundant we can create things like carbon fibers was one of the parts of my research, um, and seeing some of these things and getting to dive into some of this research and everything. It's kind of led me down the rabbit hole of looking into a lot of the esoteric or occulted technologies and things like this as well. um, Last week I had Robbie Ilson, my buddy, on the show, and he was talking to us about some of the uh, we got into some recent topics, but we got into some occulted technology, and that's something I like to talk about when he comes on the show, because he's done quite a bit of research into it himself. Um, but just going down the rabbit hole with some of that information has led me to believe that there's a lot of this that's been hidden from humanity, and that we really rest on a precipice of complete abundance in terms of energy. Uh, if we can only look into some of this research and start to gain an understanding of it. So, um, but I digress. I got a little bit off the topic of the materials research and the carbon fiber, but the carbon fiber, uh, you can create carbonized fibers from any type of cellulosic material, which is uh, things like cotton or from trees. And all you have to do is you have to put it in an oven, and you can carbonize fibers by getting them up to probably, I think it's 1200 or 1300 degrees Celsius in an inert atmosphere, and you can carbonize fibers. Well, if you go above that at a certain point, I think it's 1900 degrees Celsius, you can create graphitized fiber. And so, uh, graphene being one of the superconducting materials that's all out there, and I'm sure if everybody has everybody out there heard of graphene? I mean, tell me if you haven't heard about graphene. But graphene is a superconductor, and and knowing what I know about the research that I did at UAH there, we have such an abundance of carbon on the planet that we can take any plant material. You can even talk grasses, like if you want to if you even want to take grasses and be able to process those, are cellulosic. For any plant materials has their cell structure, you can break down, and you can carbonize and graphitize it. Uh, so anyway, there's an abundance of these electrical conductors on the planet. It's just understanding how we can harvest them in a good way, and in a way that can not deplete the resources of the planet. And so I think this is completely possible if we can really understand some of the get a hold of our own energy, and be able to take our own energy production into our own hands. So I think that's step one, our energy and food production, step one. And then we can get into some of this other stuff as we progress in this. And so I hold the philosophy of that from all the research that I've come into, and also how uh, ourselves in the current state that we're in, if we don't adopt our own personal responsibility for changing the future and taking the actions to get outside of the current system and understand that authority and the authority of governments is illegitimate, then we'll keep repeating the same cycles over and over on this planet of the master-slave relationship. And so we have to really take it into our hearts that we have to change ourselves, and start to become personally responsible for what we're doing in the world. And if we say that we want a better world, and we don't like the system as it currently is, I don't think there's any good in really trying to fight the system as it stands, but to create a new one and to opt out of it. And so that's a lot of my philosophy and what I've come to understand. And so I'm moving myself in that direction. I can't say that I'm doing everything that I want to be doing right now, and I've had to I went off grid, like I said, probably about a couple of years ago now, and at that point I was pretty much living, uh, just off of some of the savings I had and homesteading and things like that, and so I had to pick up a part-time job not too long ago, and so right now I got they're withholding some taxes and crap from me, but I'm looking into how I can keep them from withholding those taxes in my paycheck anymore. And recently I ran across a video. It was somebody that Rondon is not a big fan of, is Jeff Berwick and Anarchast, but he brought on a guy that was talking about how that it's a possibility to keep them from withholding anything from your paycheck, and that there's no law that says that you owe anyone an income tax, and so yeah, so one of the things that I hold as a philosophy or I hold as a mentality as well, is that to listen to all but follow none. So yes, Rondon is right there. It's like I think something that I've come to in my life as a realization as well is that it's not good to make anybody your savior or make anybody your hero. Is to take the information of what people are giving you, and then digest that yourself, and then make your own decisions, and make your own formulate your own conclusions, and move forward the best way that you think is the right way to go. Um, so you gotta take everybody with a grain of salt a lot of times, and there are some things about people that aren't the best. Um, so you have to understand that a lot of people are humans too. So I mean, we're all human, so we all make mistakes. So that's another thing too. So yeah, so Rondon is saying that what you could do is incorporate then subcontract with employers. Then you're only taxed on what you don't spend, not taxed on incoming income, and you spend it all. Yeah, and pay yourself a wage, which is then taxed. um, yeah, so I'm sure there's a lot of there's a lot of different ways that you can go around, and especially if you do run a business of some kind, that you can work it in such a way that you're not paying any income tax. So I know one of the big things that a lot of the elite do is they create these foundations, specifically the Clintons, creating the Clinton Foundation, and pretty much robbing everyone from what they're doing. Um, so Rondon says you are a business always. So there you go. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're trading your labor for something productive, and yeah. So that's your labor is a business. I would agree with that. So um, so anyway, something I forget to do sometimes. Well, I guess I said it in the beginning of the show, but the views and opinions that are expressed on the show are my own, and those are my guests, and so they do not reflect on MSP Waves and the wonderful people that keep this thing going around here. So yeah, if you got any feedback, or if you have anything like that, then yeah, send it my way, and let don't involve the MSP Waves guys. I merely am a get. Well, I have the privilege right now to be able to share what I talk about with the audience here on MSP, and I sincerely appreciate that. So, um, and I appreciate all you guys that show up to come and chat and interact on the show. So it's really great. So we got Kyle, or how do you say your name, Cly? I don't know. It's I guess it's supposed to be Kyle, but thank you for being here. Rondon, thank you for all that you do for this show. I saw Inertia there a second ago, and thank you guys. Kyle. Thank you guys for being here today. I appreciate that. So, so anyway, yeah. So one of the other things that uh, I have for this show is that because I believe that we are all abundance generators. One of the things is that I'm really into is self development, and so I like to Cly, Cly, Cly. Okay, Cly. That makes sense. All right. All right, Cly. Cool. Thank you for being here. And so anyway, self development, and uh, I like to share this as a kind of a motto for the show is that I will be an inextinguishable light of possibilities for myself and others. So there you go. There's a little motto that you can hold in your heart and keep with you. But today is just going to be a little bit of a free form day. I had a guest. I had a guest line up today, and he may be available for the second hour of the show. We'll see what happens, but for now, um, just maybe talking to you guys a little bit about what's going on in my life and some of the things that I got going on right now. Like I said, I picked up a part-time job working for a prosthetics and orthotics shop, and this week we moved myself and some coworkers and myself. We moved the entire prosthetics and orthotics shop, and so we moved the entire shop onto a second floor of a building, and we're moving big equipment and things like that, and um, so I'm pretty worn out for one thing, and then so. So anyway, I was pretty much going to bed at like I went to bed one night this week at like 6:30, just because I was just so worn out and not being in the best of condition. I'm realizing that I should get myself in some better shape. So I think I will be, especially working on this second floor of this building. And right now I'm the low man on the totem pole, so I get to do all the grunt work and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be like hauling plaster up to the second floor of the building and doing all that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, I have this little homestead and I got this whole off-grid setup going on right now. And right now I've been working on the weekend and just this last week it was just on Sunday. I was down at my homestead and I was working on building a little outdoor shower building, and what I have going on right now is if I can pull up a picture and throw it into chat here, is I have a IBC tote. I don't, if you're familiar with those, it's a 270 gallon IBC tote, and those are uh, the containers that have metal cages around them, and I'm running some of the water that's coming off of the property. I'm catching it, and I have a 55 gallon barrel as the first catchment, and then that overflows into this 270 gallon water tank, and I got this in there by I dug out a side of the hill. Excuse me, to be able to place this on the side of the hill there, and so yeah, man, it's one hell of an operation, you know. There's a song out there. This reminds me about. There's a song by this guy. His name is Billy Strings. I think Rondon probably enjoy it too. It's called Dust in a Baggie, and it's like, I ain't slept in 7 days, hadn't ate in 3. This methamphetamine has got a damn good hold of me. Oh man, I love it. But yeah, it does look like a little bit of an operation, doesn't it? And then anyway, I didn't mean to put that text in there. But that's some of the discussion that I've had with Robbie and myself. Um, but yeah, go look up that song, man. It's called "Dust in a Baggie." That's like it's pretty awesome. Let me put that in there for any of the banjo loving hard banjo playing music fans out there that are listening on MSP Waves. That "Dust in a Baggie" song is a really fun one. Oh, so anyway, I've been working on this outdoor shower thing, and so I was able to pick up some of these old telephone poles off of a farmer not too long ago, and I got those buried. I post hole used my post hole diggers and put those. I set those two posts, and then being able to work at this prosthetic shop, we have this little European market store right next to us at the prosthetic shop, and they're throwing out pallets and all kinds of stuff all the time. And so recently they threw out one of these like plastic pallet things, and it's like made out of high density polyethylene plastic. And so it's not gonna rot or anything on me, and I'm using that as the base platform for the little outdoor shower I'm gonna build here. And I'm calling it a cowboy shower, and I made a post about it earlier this week, and some people are. It was River Flows that asked me, but I think she's out in Australia. But she asked me what a cowboy shower is, and what I'm calling a cowboy shower is just a real rough, basic building that I can put a little shower head into and call it a shower, call it a shower house. So anyway, is that's what it is, and so I'm just using some wood posts that I was able to pick up off of a guy that Robbie knows. He was getting rid of a bunch of logs that he had saw down or cut down off of his property, preparing it for a house, and he put a ad out on Craigslist to come pick those suckers up. So I got my trailer, or I was able to borrow a trailer from my dad, and I was able to go pick up those logs. And so I picked up several of them, and they're close to like 15 to 20 feet a piece, and they're really straight and oak logs. So what I did was and I'll be putting this video out pretty soon. Is I was able to take those logs, and I burnt the bottom of them, so you can see that's what that propane tank there is for. It was for me to burn the bottom of the logs before they go into the ground there, and that way I would treat the logs so that they're not going to get they're not going to rot or um, get any insects that come and want to attack them. So it's a technique that I've seen uh, like the Vikings used to do this, I guess. It was a way to treat the wood before it went in the ground, and then also the Japanese do it. I think it's called like I can't remember the name of the technique, but it's being able to burn the wood to treat it, to char the outside of the wood, and to create the carbonized material, the carbon, and and in that way it preserves the wood from like like rot and stuff like that. So anyway, this was another part of the process was to take my chainsaw, and then I took the chainsaw and just kind of I run it back and forth about 2 feet on the log there, and I was able to strip the bark back, and and after stripping the bark back and everything like that, I took that propane torch and I torched the bottom part of the log, and so it's gonna go into the ground that way. So Yeah, yeah. So what do we got going on in chat here? We got Lax saying pallets is awesome for sketch buildings. Our Halloween hunt is all pallets. Yeah, that's right. And they're everywhere. I'll tell you, people are getting rid of pallets all the time. And one of the best ways, especially if you want to use them for like growing food or anything like that, you want to look for the pallets that are stamped HT on the side. Those are heat treated pallets. And one of the first uses I had for finding these pallets was actually turning them into little uh, gardens. And so I just fill them up with soil. You put like a landscaping cloth on the bottom, and or you can use like some kind of high density polyethylene plastic or something like that, and poke a bunch of holes into it. But I was using it for little gardens for a little while, and I grew some horseradish and asparagus, and see what else did I have going in there? Uh, turmeric. I had growing in these little pallets, and so they're a really cool little thing if you wanted to try that. And Solo Miner says that he tried that. Hey, Solo Miner, it's good to see you, man. He tried that and it spilled all out on him. Yeah, it's not the the easiest, but yeah, if you want to get something started, um, and you have no idea about gardening or anything like that, it can be a real easy way to get a little raised bed going. So if you don't want to spend a whole lot of time building your own raised bed and stuff like that, it's a way you can get a raised bed built real quick. So it's something you can do there. And so you want to do something with 55-gallon barrel? Yeah, that'd be great. Man, we tried. I know myself and my dad tried growing potatoes in a barrel in a 55-gallon barrel, and that didn't work out so great for us. But I don't know if we totally did it very well, and so I didn't know much about growing potatoes. This is the first time I tried it, but we only got a handful of potatoes doing that, and it didn't come out too great for us. But we didn't really know what we were doing, so I might have to retry that. And do that again and retry that experiment again. So Lax saying tires work good for taters too, huh? So okay, I'll have to give that a try. I know. Let's see. As the plant grows, you add another tire and fill with dirt. Okay, right on, right on. I'll have to try that. So yeah, recently I went to the Anarchadelphia conference. I guess it wasn't recently. It was back in September of last year, 2019. But one of the speakers there was Clive DeCarl, and he used to run his own permaculture farm. And one of the things that he told me about growing vertically is something that you can do is you can use straw, and then you'll make like a layer garden, and you can do it vertically by just piling straw up, and then you put some dirt on a layer, and then you put your seeds in that layer, and then you stack another layer, and then you put more dirt and then your seeds in there, and then you keep doing that as tall as you want to do, and then you encase the whole thing with like chicken wire. Uh, so you put that whole wheat or that whole straw in some chicken wire, and you keep growing vertically like that, and you can grow some different stuff in there. I think he said he was growing like strawberries and stuff like that out of that, and so that's one technique, but that I'd like to try as well. So, and Nurse said you quit growing vertically a while ago. Yeah, uh, yeah, all the different little techniques I've tried for growing vertically haven't worked out so great for me yet. But yeah, I'd like to keep experimenting with some different methods and stuff. Uh, so yeah, there's some different stuff out there to try out. Um, and see what's gonna work the best for you. So I'd like to try that straw bale method out there. uh, so Marbles, really? I used to grow some of the ganja in marbles. Hmm. Yeah, that makes sense with what I'm doing in. I also am a big proponent of aquaponics, and so uh, one of the things in aquaponics is that to create the bacteria that is going to uh, convert your nitrites to nitrates for the plants, it grows on a large surface area, and uh, so you need that surface area of some kind of inert material. A lot of people use hydroton, which is like those expanded clay pellets, and that works really good to create that surface area. But that's pretty expensive stuff. What Robbie figured out is you can use that pea gravel, and you can get big truckloads from it from like a stone supply place, and you can do that. But yeah, glass marbles sound like they should work too. If you can get your if you can get glass marbles for real cheap, then yeah, that should work fine too. That's cool. Um, oh, and you had an aquaponics setup, Cly. Okay, that's awesome, man. Um, but yeah, that makes total sense from what I've done with the aquaponics. So man, that's cool. I'd like to. Man, if you had any, I well, that's cool. If you've been growing aquaponics, man, it's a rarity that I'll run across somebody else that's done some aquaponics. So it's good to know somebody else that's done that kind of stuff. So I have to bounce some ideas off of you, um, and you'll have to come on and maybe talk to me sometime on the show. I'd love to have you on and talk about some of that stuff. So um, yeah, awesome, brother. Thank you. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, I guess let's see. Going forward with some of the recent stuff that I've been working on is that cowboy shower, and so let's see. This is a little further. I just got working on it like last Sunday, and and I got the pallet down in there. I got that set, and to the side of it, I have a another pallet that I'm going to put a wood stove on. And I got this wood stove off of a deal uh, that my new coworker Dimitri helped me get at the local shop, the Rule King. It's called Rule King, but they had this cast iron stove that was sitting there that they couldn't sell, and he was able to talk him down to like $75, and it ended up being like $80 after tax because it had a little crack in it. But I think even with that little crack, it'll be fine for what I'm going to use it for with this little outdoor shower. So my idea is to use the shower and to wrap or to use the wood stove and to wrap a copper coil around the exhaust pipe of the wood stove so that I can create a thermosiphon effect with that, and that thermosiphon will pump uh, hot water without having to need any kind of physical pump or DC pump or anything like that. So that's a little stove right there. And so I'll have those blue containers, those 55-gallon drums, up at the top of the the pallets right there to use the gravity to feed it down into the thermosiphon, and then the thermosiphon from that effect will be able to pump the hot water back up into the barrel, and that way I'll just heat the barrel over time there. So I saw this off of some guys doing these rocket stoves, and and they just built this real simple rocket stove there, and they built a little water heater based off of this same concept. Yeah, and so solo, yeah, it's that same concept. You put the copper coil in a campfire, and that heating effect is what's creating the pumping action for the water, because as it's like steaming off, that air that as that air moves up, it's like it doesn't have anywhere to go. It's got to pull some water with it, and so that's what's happening. And so it's it's a cool little trick there that I'm gonna try out. And so yeah, I'll report back on how well it works. But I'll be down there tomorrow working on that. And yeah, since I've been working so much this week, I haven't had the ability to uh, no excuses. Haven't had the ability to put up any of my videos. So I've got some videos that are I'm waiting to upload, and I've just got to get better at. I just got to get better at putting the edits together and getting them out there, because it's just like uh, it's. I'd like to be able to put out some daily content, whether through the blog or through some videos, and it's just I just got to get better at doing that. And so that's what I'm going to be working on, and really trying to focus my efforts on, is trying to get that daily content out there, and try to yeah, just make sure I'm capturing more videos, and keeping a vlog going. Lately I've been doing vlogs on just rants. Just rants that I've had about things that have pissed me off. And one of those was the scam of the Federal Reserve, and for the life of me, I just don't understand how, everybody, we're all fighting against each other, right? And there's such this left-right divide in the country and everything like that that's going on, and nobody is everybody's doing this left-right fighting back and forth, but nobody ever talks about or brings up the central banking system and the Federal Reserve when they're talking and fighting each other. And it's just one of those things that I just don't understand why people aren't seeing that as a big issue, and that I'm trying to bring that up, and what a scam the Federal Reserve is. So they create money out of nothing. They just create it. They put right now they just punch new digits into a computer, and poof, new money is created. And then they loan that to the federal government, and then they get to charge interest on the taxpayer for paying that back. How much of a scam is that? It's just robbing. It's pure theft, is what it is. And so it's for anything to move forward in a positive way, in my opinion, the central banks have to go. Central banking has to go, and it's just one of those things that frustrates me when I see people fighting. Is that you know the, not anybody is talking about the Federal Reserve, for one, and and it's something that I think that more people should be talking about, is how much of a scam the Federal Reserve is, and how it just needs to go. And so, everybody that's here, that's in the cryptocurrency community, is has that level of consciousness of that 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 the money system is all screwed up, and so we're seeking alternatives to the traditional fiat currency system. And if I'm not mistaken, fiat means by decree. So it has no real value other than, well, in the good old USSA, it's the value of being backed up by the military force of the USSA. And I say USSA because this is all kind of run like a total communist style thing right now. So it's it's just ridiculous. And when we pay our income tax, there's literally, since money can be created out of nothing, it literally is meaningless that we pay income tax, in my opinion. And for anybody, for 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 anything anyway, that the income, if somebody owns a portion of your income, any percentage of your income, then you're pretty much just working as a slave for that person. So if you don't own yourself, and that's the fundamental question, is if you own yourself, then who gets to have who get who other gets to own a portion of your labor, or has a right to own a portion of your labor? And um, so that's one of the fundamental questions. And kind of feel like what's that guy on Parks and Recreation, uh, that's like uh, he plays the libertarian dude, but like just kind of Ron Swanson, or I think that's what his name is. But I just feel like Ron Swanson sometimes is like, those bastards. I'm not gonna do a damn thing, for him. So anyway, that was one of my rants, and then also is just the whole 9/11 thing. Like, there's recently it's not recently, but there's been the Architects and Engineers for Engineering Truth. But I think recently they were able to get a simulation, a finite element analysis simulation out that matches the video footage of what happened to World Trade Center Building 7. And so if you look at the footage of World Trade Center Building 7, the thing collapses into itself at free fall speed. And the only way for that to occur is if all the underlying columns have been taken out by something like a controlled demolition. And so when they run the finite element analysis, that is the only way that the simulation acts as the way the building acted in the video. And so that's something to go check out. That's Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth, and it's Richard Gage is the guy to go check out there. And so that was one of the other things I was talking about. But yeah, the story of 9/11, it's such a funny thing is that right after the event happened is they find the passports of the guy, or the guys they say that committed flew the planes into the building, and like nothing else survives. So it's like, come on. So it's just ridiculous to me. And it's something that I think everybody should definitely look into if you still believe the official story of 9/11, to go into that and go look up the evidence, especially with the Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth that are out there. So it just doesn't make any sense. Like, buildings are created with they're built like pyramids, so that the bottom structure is more beefy than and built out of stronger materials than the structures up top. So that you have your lighter stuff up top, and then you have your more bulky materials to withstand more force at the bottom. That way it can maintain the stresses. So the way the two towers fell as well is very strange on how they fell. And if anything, the towers above should have collapsed into the lower ones, and they withstood the actual force um, of that top of the tower falling. It would be much like, dropping a Volkswagen Beetle onto a Mack truck. The Mack truck's going to be fine. Um, I mean, it's going to get some damage, but it's not going to be a catastrophic failure. And so, and so, it's not just going to go away and to collapse entirely into its own footprint like it does that we see in the video there. So a lot of it just doesn't make any sense. And once you can look into that and start questioning that, that brings you down so many other avenues. And so, these are some of the things that have kind of led me down the path that I'm going down right now. And is once you realize that this whole thing is just a scam, really. Government is run like organized crime, and in fact it is organized crime. And I love the quote by George Carlin that says, "It's all a big club, and you and I ain't in it," and that's what it is. So it's just one of those things that yeah, it makes you really think about what's going on, and wanting to change things into a different direction. And the philosophy that I have is to go with the Buckminster Fuller quote, which is to create the new systems that make the old ones obsolete. And I believe that we have that opportunity now. If people can understand that they are their own sovereign beings, and that we have the power to manifest our new reality that we can live in, and that we can live in a world of abundance, and instead of this world of artificial scarcity that we have going on right now. And so, that's one of the things that I encourage people to get out there and try start small. You don't have to go and be run a full permaculture farm and and create your own little off-grid community and do all this. Like you don't have to get out there and do that immediately, but wherever you're at, whatever your resources are, to begin to start to grow your own food, grow a little bit of your own food. Just experiment with it. Get out there and try to just grow some, maybe start with trying to grow some tomatoes. They grow pretty well in a lot of different environments, and you know, um, maybe some of your basic herbs, like basil. Basil grows pretty well, and just start to experiment, and that's the reason why I call my blog. If you go look at my blog, it's naked stuff is my name, but uh, on the blog, but the title is the Tinker Tribe, and so I just kind of came up with that when I'm thinking about how the future could play out in a different way. Is that we all kind of work together as kind of like a series of kind of connected tribes, because I think there's something out there where it's like I think it's called Dunbar's number, but it's the ideal group size for human beings is like 7 to 10 people working together in some type of common ideal or goal that they have. And so, I kind of have this envisionment of, these little hacker, farmer, permaculture groups that are working together as interconnected little tribes, as you call them, and all kind of working as a decentralized effort to create the new world that leaves this one behind, and we don't even have to use any of the current system, because we've created our own networks together for being able to trade goods and services and different stuff like that. So Clyde, man, I like that meme there. It says it's the one with the brain expansion, and it says jet fuel can't melt steel beams, level 1. Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself, level 2. Fuel beams can't kill or can't kill at melts, and then jet fuel steam can't commit steel side. That's great, man. I love that meme. That's good. Hey, Crimson Cloud, thanks for joining us. So yeah, we're just going into some of my ideas for creating the better future, and creating the new world, or creating the new system that makes the old one obsolete without having to go and fight the current system. And so, a lot of these, some of these ideas come from Samuel Edward Konkin III, and I got turned on to him through Derek Bros and what he's doing, and so a lot of this goes along with the ideas of agorism, and so agorism is from the Greek term agora, which was like a central place for exchanging goods and services, and it was like kind of a central place in every city area where people could discuss ideas and could trade between each other. it was a marketplace in a free, kind of a free marketplace for people to do these type of things, and so uh, that's one of the keys to agorism, and some of the things that Samuel Edward Konkin III was talking about was how to um, be able to use the non-traditional markets. So he divided the markets up into different categories, and so you had the white market, which is the market that can be seen by the authority, or by governments and everybody that's working in the governments. They can see all your transactions, everything like that. Those are your white markets. In the gray market, you have things like people trading services and other things using the currencies and all that. It's things that you would sell, like a garage sales and things like that, would be considered a gray market activity, where it's not necessarily considered illegal by the state, but it is, you're not reporting any of that income or anything that's coming in from that. It would be considered the gray market. And then you have, and I'm sure everybody's familiar with the term the black market, but the black market is things that the state would consider illegal. And it's, things like drugs and weapons and those type of things that the state considers illegal. Uh, that you're trading and conducting your economy in things that are hidden from the state, and any that could be pretty much anything. So, but specifically things that the state deems as illegal. So anyway, these are the things that can help push towards and the Silk Road is a great example of that. Is that people are going and into buying and trading these goods, and cutting out the middleman there, which is your drug dealer on the street corner, which a lot of times could involve. There's a lot of violence in the drug trade, and the whole drug war has caused a lot of human suffering and a lot of violence, and so the Silk Road is a way for people to conduct those black market transactions without having to get into the whole violent aspects of the black market. And so this is why the governments found it so dangerous, and why Ross Ulbricht is currently serving multiple life sentences for this, creating this idea. And it was, if nobody's familiar with Ross Ulbricht, I highly recommend you checking out his story, and how the governments have created have kind of railroaded him and planted a lot of circumstantial evidence, and saying that he was hiring some kind of a person uh, uh, to kill somebody and all this stuff. And so I would go look into his story, and which none of it has been totally proven there. Um, so anyway, so you had Ross Ulbricht, and I think I did post a video with Lynn Ulbricht, his mother, talking about the case of his case, and I'll get that posted up on my blog, and so you can get into it uh, more deeply. And uh, so that's the allegations on Ross Ulbricht. And so uh, but the guy was a very peaceful guy, from what I've seen. And so uh, I don't believe these allegations personally. So um, Uh, and when it comes down to it, it says, or the judge had said, from what Lynn Ulbricht says, is that the ideology is something that the government is very scared of, being able to trade with each other, in these black markets and things like this. So yeah, for every technology can be used for good or evil, and so I believe I believe the intention of the Silk Road um, was a good intention, and that there to say that it can't be used for evil as well would be naive. So it can be used for either good or evil, and so that's just something I would have everybody look into. Go to freeross.org is the website um, for checking out more of Ross Ulbricht's story, and you know make up your own conclusions. And for everything that I say, always go out there and go look into it yourself, and formulate your own conclusions and everything. So um, yeah, I'm gonna leave that out there for you guys to go check out. But anyway, so let's go back to some of my recent events here, and I'll show you guys a little bit about what I have been working on in the prosthetic shop. And this is one of the prosthetics that we've been working for here is this guy, and it's this is one part of the process of the layup. Is this is a somebody's casting of their limb right here, and then this is the carbon sock after it's already been cured in the resin. So so that's a first part of this process is to be able to lay up a carbon sock. There's a piece of plastic that goes in the very bottom of this, and then this is performed by heating up something that's a plastic that is very well formable, and it's still strong, and it's a PET G, and so you use PET G to uh, melt or to thermally deform the plastic and make it go into kind of a more glass-like or a liquidy kind of state a little bit to semi-melt the plastic, and then you can form it using a vacuum. You pull it over your cast, which is it's a plaster cast, and you pull it over that, and you pull a vacuum, and it forms down to the shape of the cast. And so after you do that, you lay up a layer of carbon fiber over that, and so this is the process. Right after that is to be able to rough this up, because there's another layer, composite layer that goes right over this, so that in order to get a good bond between those two layers, you have to really rough up the surface of that. So that's something that kind of being the grunt is have to sand down all those surfaces and be pretty good at uh, uh, being able to rough that up really well, so you get a good bond between those two surfaces. Um, so there you go. We got inertia and Rondon. Guys talking about the Ross Ulbricht case. So yeah, go out there and go look up the different evidence on that, and then formulate your own conclusions there. But I believe that Ross Ulbricht is innocent of these allegations, and from my own view. But go look it up and create your own conclusions on that. Um, so anyway, here we go. Here's kind of the next stage of this process is you create this layer in between the actual socket of the object of the person's limb and that first carbon fiber layer, and this is to you put a like a foam cone on this, which is also thermally formed around the prosthetic, the underlying structure that you just created there. And then this gives a gap so that you can put a what they call a cover plate on, which is all it does is it's a protection for that inner structure for the prosthetic, and it just protects that inner structure of the composite from getting damaged, and it has some kind of you can put any kind of graphic or whatever you want on it, and it's usually done with some type of fabric or t-shirt, and it's sewed to create the form of the prosthetic, and then you have a cool looking outer shell that you put on this thing, and yeah, I mean you could sell these on the Silk Road, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it's a totally unregulated market is a totally unregulated market is the thing that the state fears, in my opinion. And so yeah, it can look a little strange too there. So I see what you guys are I see what you guys are hinting at there. Um, so after that's done, then you create the outer shell, which goes over the top, and then so this is an example of one of those outer shells. After we put the T-shirt on there, and it's another layer of carbon, and it's just a single layer of carbon fiber. And this carbon fiber, guys, is so cool that it keeps the whole prosthetic attachment there as lightweight as they possibly can, and gives it really good structural rigidity, and so it's really cool. So that's one example. After we've done the resin and pulled the vacuum bag over it and everything like that, and you come out with this really nice glossy shiny image, and that's just a t-shirt that they had that they cut up and then they sewed, and it created that really nice looking finish on there. And then I got a couple more here that are examples that are pretty neat looking. So this guy's got a little stag on his, uh, which is pretty cool. And then the one that I showed you guys earlier, the first picture I posted here, here is the cover for that one. It's like Noah's Ark. It's like a really neat, man, this one came out really, really cool. They did the fabric and sewed it in such a way that, and Dimitri was able to form it in such a way that it didn't even have any wrinkles when it came out. You couldn't even see the wrinkles on the back, but it's just like a super glossy, like Noah's Ark, like um, image there. It's just really neat looking, I think. So that one came out really well, and then so here you go. You can see that picture of how those come out, and that's just kind of showing you that cast of where we came from originally, and to the cover and everything after that. So that's what you get. So Lax asks, is it common for clients to have multiple covers? Not from what I've seen. It's just the process for creating one of these covers is quite a long process, and I'm sure they could get another cover, but it would definitely have a cost associated with that. So from what I've seen, it's just a single cover. Um, and so this one is one of the neat things about these two is that for this guy right here, this doesn't have the cover. Actually, it's all the prosthetic piece right here, and then what they do to get it to perfectly form and tighten onto the person's leg is they cut a section out of this thing, and then there's a way to put like a nylon rope inside, and you can kind of see that bump there in the prosthetic where that tube is, and you fish a piece of nylon string in there, and it's encapsulated by the composite material, and there's a little knob that you turn where there's 2 knots in that nylon string, and so it allows you to tighten and squeeze the prosthetic together so that it clamps down on the person's limb. And so it's a really neat little thing there. Uh, so Kawhi says, but can you work with best car? Huh. I don't know. Is that from let's see, is that from The Mandalorian or something? I don't know. But I see that Mandalorian memes all over the place right now. It cracks me up every time. Where it's like, this is the way. That meme really cracks me up. Um, but I haven't seen The Mandalorian at all, so I hear it's pretty good. Um, and I hear people talking about it, but I haven't seen it yet, um, so it looks good. Mandalorian armor material, immune to blaster fire. Okay, wicked. Yeah, that'd be pretty nice to have. Uh, sounds like unobtainium. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, so that was the cover materials, and so this is where you can see those carbon fiber prosthetics there, and that's the base. That's the base of the thing uh, after it's done. So uh, yeah, yeah. If you find some unobtainium, if anybody can find some unobtainium, you give me a call. I'd like to get my hands on some of that. So Julia's here. Julia is in the house. All right. Thank you for joining. And so appreciate all you guys coming to hang out. Hey, something else that's happening with what all I have going on right now is I am going to the Anarchapulco event that's happening in Acapulco, Mexico, and so I'm gonna be driving down there. I'm not flying. I'm gonna be driving down into Mexico to Acapulco. I talked to the boss of the company owner at the prosthetic shop, and he gave me the good word to take that week and head down there. So I'm going to be heading down to the main event there. And if anybody wants me to get like any kind of specific interview with somebody, or wants me to talk to somebody, has some kind of questions or anything that you want me to ask, then I'd love to take some of those questions and try to get an interview with somebody while I'm down there. So I'm gonna make it down there. This is an event that I've wanted to go to for a while, and I've finally had the ability to make a trip down there this year. So I'm gonna go down there, and I know some of you guys that don't have favorable ideas about that whole event and the thing that's going down there, but it'd be a great opportunity for if you have some questions or anything like that you want answered, then I'd love to maybe get somebody on an interview and see if I can get them up for an interview or anything like that. So, and there's also, if anybody is interested in going to that event, they are selling tickets for like 40% off or something like that. I got it through We Are Change, and the promo code was WRC to get a 40% off of the tickets. So so that's something I'm doing, and I will be going to that, driving down there. Probably it's coming up, but I'll be driving down there and then heading back up and probably camping out along the way and putting out some videos and doing that kind of thing. So I got that going on. Punch DV in the dick and then tell him class it out. Oh man, I don't know. I'm not gonna do that, but yeah. So anyway, yeah, Rondon. Yep, Derek Bros had a issue the previous year, and And Jeff Berwick recently put out a post that said that he really wants more people to attend the whole Anarchapulco event, and for some people, if they wanted to go for free, that you can go make your case to him, and he might let you come in for free. And then for everybody else, he's giving a big discount to for anybody that's like really wants to make it down and wants to try to make it down to the event and do that kind of thing. So yeah, solo. Yeah, I'm gonna be planning my route down there, and I'm gonna try to camp as much as I can, and just try to make my way down there. I'll probably hit up Swoop actually and see if Swoop wants to join me and making it down there because he said that he's been down there before. So he's got some family in Mexico and all that stuff. So I have a road trip partner. So I'm gonna hit up Swoop if Swoop's out there, man. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a call, brother. So so yeah, it's gonna happen, and so I'll be driving down there, one way or another, and things might get a little weird. So anyway, um, that's gonna be the thing that's going down for me in the near future, and I'm gonna go on that little adventure and see what all is happening down there in Anarchapulco. So, um, some of the speakers, Sherry Peel Jackson is somebody that I'm interested in seeing there. She is the former IRS agent that got thrown in prison for a time period because she was telling people the truth about the income tax. Um, and then you got people like Freeway Rick Ross that's going to be there. That was put in prison for his uh, drug crimes and all that kind of stuff. So, um, so that'll be interesting. And then we'll have like guys like Larkin Rose that'll be down there. So I'm interested in getting to talk with Larkin Larkin Rose as well. Um, among many of the other people that'll be there. So that'll be interesting. Oh God. Yeah, yeah. So so it'll be an interesting event, and it's just something that's going on with me and my current journey, and what all I have happening going on right now. So let's see. Um, yeah, I'll probably get trolled quite a bit by Swoop. We'll see. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that event and seeing how everything plays out. So yeah, here's just another image of what's going on there. Um, Inertia asks, "Will ABJ be there?" See, I'm not sure who ABJ is. If um, you can clarify that one, I'm not sure. So, uh, or I don't know if that was Amanda B. Johnson. Oh, I know who you're talking about there. She's the woman that was the spokesperson for Dash for a little while there. I think, right? Is that correct, Inertia? Um, if it is, yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't know if she's gonna be there. I'm gonna look more into. Actually, I could probably go into their webpage right now and see and tell you guys who else is gonna be there. See, and if I was a good host, I would have already done that. But when I brought this up, but I'm still fairly new to this little podcasting thing, and yeah, so it's no excuse though. It's no excuse. But yeah, let me pull that up right now here. Let's see. So, yeah. Today you learned that Greg, making stuff, makes some weird prosthetics. There you go. That's what's up. Oh, um, yeah. I don't know if Ron Paul is going to be there this year, but we'll see here. Let's go. Let's see what's going on. So, here's the speakers 2020. Let's see. 2020 speakers here. Okay. Stream is dropping. Alright. Probably because it doesn't like me going into these web pages and looking up stuff while I'm streaming. So anyway, here we go. Here is the list of speakers that we got going on. So we're gonna have Ron Paul. We got John McAfee. We got Sherry Peel Jackson. We got Doug Casey. We got Freeway Rick Ross. Del Bigtree. Jeff Berwick. He's of course he's going to be there. He's the guy hosting the event. We got Richard Gage, Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. Max Egan. Chad and Nadia Elwartoski. I'm not sure who those guys are. We got Benny Willis. We got James Corbett. Let's see. We got Paul Rosenberg, Larkin Rose, Luke Radowski. Got Dale Brown. So Dale Brown is a really interesting guy. I think he created his own like private security business there in Detroit. Like it's called Vipers or I think Detroit Threat Management. That's an alternative to the police, and so he's an interesting guy. He'd be interesting to meet. Then we got Michael Bowman. He says he's a hemp activist and businessman. Lily Forrester. She is a lot of you guys may know Lily Forrester. She's on Steam. It's Lily Divine, and her story is quite interesting. And yeah, and she lives down there in Acapulco, I believe. And then Payasa Neko Sith. I'm not familiar with. I'm somewhat familiar with her. She talks about how circumcision and how the trauma of circumcision is one of the things that kind of puts us into the dominator system. Is that trauma, that early childhood trauma for a lot of men. So, and then we got Nova Ohm, we got Patrick Smith. I think his name is also Disenthrall. And Christoph Melchizedek, Amanda Rose, who is Larkin Rose's girlfriend, I believe, or partner. See, Angel Clark, Carrie Wedler, Kathleen Beisch, David Rodriguez, Carla Garrick, Joe Quirk. Joe Quirk's interesting. He is the guy that started the Seasteading Institute, which is a group of people that are trying to create like cities on the ocean, which is pretty cool. So okay, yeah, I guess Ronald says he got my stream. My stream is stable now, so that's good. Yeah, we got Dan Dix, Press for Truth. Josh Sigerson is World Alternative Media, and then Etienne de la Boete Squared. I met him at Anarchadelphia, and he's a really great guy. He created this big old sign that says government and media are run by organized crime, and he went and they got a bunch of photos in front of the White House. And he says it's like one of the most censored. It's like one of the most censored photos that's out there. Is this sign of them in front of the White House that says "Government and media are run by organized crime," and so so Tainted Blood, man. Hey, thanks for joining for the show. So I'm just talking to people about my current journey that I'm going to go, and I'm going to be driving down to Anarchapulco and to Mexico. So, so I'll be heading on down to Anarchapulco, and let me grab a drink real quick here because my throat is getting really dry. Because I've been talking pretty nonstop for about an hour and a half here. So let me take a drink. Yeah. By the way, see we got ABDX9. Thanks for being here. The network is breaking over here. I'm not sure what's going on with that. I don't know what network you're trying out. Either the mspwaves.com or on Discord. But if you want to see everything that I'm looking at on my screen and all that kind of stuff, you can go to mspwaves.com/listen, and you can see all the stuff that I got pulled up on my screen and all that kind of stuff. Um, so if we're having some issues on Discord, you can go check it out over there, and you can still hear everything that I'm talking about and going on because Discord gets funky sometimes. So my apologies if that's going down. So anyway, yeah, I will be going to attend Anarchapulco and making the drive down to Acapulco, Mexico. In the next coming weeks, February 13th through 16th is the main event that I'm going to be attending. And then they have some stuff that's going to go on after the event, and I might hang out for a little bit of that, and then try to come on back up. So that's something that I'm going to do there. And so some of the other guys that are going to be there, let's see, Francis Hunt, Gus Demos. Now Gus Demos is a guy that I know personally. He is the managing partner and co-founder of Perpetual Assets SST, or sorry, Perpetual Assets LLC, where they help you convert like an old 401k and roll it over into your own self-directed IRA LLC. And so I've done this personally and rolled over some of my old retirement accounts into my own self-directed account, where you can make investments in businesses. You can, pretty much invest in a bunch of different asset classes. You can invest in your own stocks. You can use your own broker account and invest in stocks and different things like that. And also precious metals. You can you can invest in gold and silver and hold them in your own self-directed IRA LLC, which you become the manager or the custodian for that company. And so basically the IRA invests in the LLC. And anyway, I've set up one of these through these guys and got that going for myself, so I can make some different investments. And also you can also invest in cryptocurrencies now, so you can hold cryptocurrencies in your own IRA, self-directed IRA LLC. So they got that all set up through their perpetual assets. So I just talk about them because yeah, I use them, so it's pretty cool. They're pretty cool guys. Then we got James Turk. They got a lot of speakers. This is incredible. Founder of Gold Money, Louis Fernando Mises is is one of the guys that's he helps run the Dollar Vigilante, and he talks about international travel and a lot of that kind of stuff. See, Mark Emery, I'm not familiar with him, but it says he's a seasoned professional or permanent traveler. I think was what PT means. He's the author and freedom fighter. And let's see, there's some Michael K. Cobb, Rafael Laverde is a big cryptocurrency guy. See, we got Tim Pachote. He is a financial professional. But he's also got his own. He's been doing a lot of stuff with World Alternative Media and trying to get financial information out there. Um, so, uh, oh man, so Cly says, see, perpetual asshats. I've not encountered that with those guys. They're very professional guys that are trying to help people out. But see, gold money. Yeah, I've looked into gold money and decided not to do the gold money thing there. But yeah, you said you've had problems with gold money. Uh, oh man, so no ID. Now they're taking money each month. Interesting. Mark Emery, you're saying is a pot guy. Okay, so PT, personal trainer. Well, there's the term PT, as I know of it, is a perpetual traveler. So it's like a uh, it's a method of going in you're kind of like being in a country, but you're not staying in the country for more than like 6 months. You have to go travel and take a trip somewhere else so that they don't like technically, I guess, consider you as a resident or anything like that. You're like you're just permanently kind of like traveling, and then like I guess the only thing like the thing you have I guess that you would do is just like you just have to cross a border like every 6 months. So like if you live pretty close to a border, you just go and get your uh, passport stamped or whatever to go into a different country. So 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 let's see. We had somebody else join. Shuvo35. How's it going, brother? We're just talking about my current journey in me attending the Anarchapulco event that's going to be coming up in February. So, just talking about some of the guest speakers that are going to be there. Uh, so, there's going to be a lot of different people that I'm just kind of going through the list here. Naomi Brockwell, she, I guess, she's going to be the MC for CryptoPoco. So the master of ceremonies for CryptoPoco. Nick Spanos, Bitcoin pioneer. I don't know who this guy is. I don't know who some of these guys are. Brock Pierce, that is weird. That's interesting because Brock Pierce is, I guess, uh, part of the EOS thing, and then I think he's been involved with like some nefarious stuff uh, with pedophilia and stuff like that. I'm not sure about Brock Pierce, but Brock Pierce is kind of a strange one there. Ben Swan, we have that'll be there. Investigative journalist and kind of had to go on his own thing going down there. Okay, so Tainted Blood says that eventually Europe will crack down on people loopholing the visiting regulation. I'm sure Europe will do something like that, but let's see. We got Matthews on it joined up too. So welcome to the show, man. So we're talking about some of these other people that'll be here at the Anarchapulco event. We got Joby Weeks that's going to be there. He created or he was a big promoter of the Bit Club thing that I think is kind of going through some stuff right now. uh, but I met him at Anarchadelphia too. He's a cool guy. Um, and so he'll be there. We got Erica Gemma, Bitcoin Center Miami. She is the CEO of Bitcoin Center Miami. And I know Ko was doing some stuff at Bitcoin Center in Miami. From the last time I talked to him, he's got the Ko Exchange, the Kindness of Humanity Exchange, going on, and was doing some stuff out of there for a little while. We got Big Sweer. Listened to a lot of Big Sweer's stuff online, and one of Big Sweer's things he has investigated. From what he's investigated, he was talking about how they discovered a lot of gold in the Grand Canyon area, like back in the early 1900s, and he's the guy that I would really like to talk to. about some of this stuff, and he has some interesting guys that come on and talk with him from time to time. And one of the guys is Cliff High that he has on from time to time, and he's an interesting interview. If you guys aren't familiar with Cliff High, he gets into some of the stuff that he's working on right now is a lot about the energy, the whole energy paradigm, a lot of the occulted technologies, and um, some of the new knowledge in how that can all work out with energy and being able to use a lot of the work that Tesla was putting out and starting to understand that more. So yeah, Big Swear will be there. He's a big proponent of silver and also something called the Road to Ruta is the thing that he created. But another thing that he talks about is how Alan Greenspan, um, the former head of the Federal Reserve, they created a way to like rig all markets back in the uh, back like the 1970s, 80s time period, and so that's why it's called Route A is because that's like a coding terminology. uh, so so anyway, yeah, Big Sawyer is an interesting guy. He's got a lot of interesting theories about how things have gone down, and so he'll be there. Alejandro Ventimilla, uh, blockchain developer. I'm not familiar with him. Amin Rafi. I'm not familiar with him. Cynthia Blanchard. Anthem Gold, Hercules SEZC, and Anthem Holdings. Derek J. Freeman. I'm familiar with him. He did a video. He did a video called "A Victimless Crime Spree," where he just kind of went around and did all the victimless crimes that are around in New Hampshire, I believe. And he's got a cool documentary film that he made called "The Victimless Crime Spree." That was pretty funny. It's pretty good. So yeah, we got Dominic Frisby, we got Jason King, uh, we got Kingsley Edwards. He's the guy that created Float.app. Jeremy Coffin, the guy that created Library.io. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. Interesting hearing from that guy. Is another one of these decentralized social media platforms. Juliet Anerio. See, Michael Turpin, Steve Zeller, Tijo Bear, Trevor Verco. I'll just talk about the ones that I'm familiar with. Let's see, Becca Tiziani, activist and author, Venus and Her Lover. I think she talks a lot about relationships and how to build better relationships between men and women. Jackie Fig, Jason Christoph, um, is see self-sabotage activists or field of overcoming self-sabotage activists. That would be interesting. TJ Mars, the Brittany Fishbeck, Dr. Matthew Buckley is a chiropractic doctor. Uh, this is a very interesting. Like, there's just so many. There's a lot of stuff about health and wellness, and people are going to be there about health and wellness and stuff like that. And talking about a range of topics in health and wellness as well. Dr. Evelyn Veras, we have Alex Gilmore, Craig Goldberg, see Rashid Butter. They don't have a picture for him. Greg Davenport, Heather Ellen, Kate Urinda, Dr. Kevin Hall, Kimberly Krause, Kyle Varner, Dr. Les Feinberg, Charlie Robinson, Lila Vega, Juan Pablo Barana, Dr. Matt Godel, Maury Robbins, Reagan Tyler, Raji Dalani, Dr. Rob Vasquez, Stephanie Weeks, and Trina Roswell are some of the people that are going to be there. So yeah, it'll be interesting going to this event, and I will try to be doing some videos there and reporting back on what all is going down. It's really cool that Ron Paul's going to be there. Ron Paul really got me going down the road of starting to question a lot of things. I was involved with trying to help out the Ron Paul campaign back in '08, and seeing, at that point, it really kind of made me realize that this whole thing is just totally rigged. There was a big groundswell for Ron Paul, and they pretty much just took him out of like debates and just like silenced Ron Paul and didn't give him a chance to speak at certain points, and um, that really started me questioning a lot of the stuff that's going on in the current system, and so and bringing me into the ideas of Austrian economics and and not Australian economics. So uh, um, so yeah, there's gonna be some really great people there. John McAfee, if he shows up in person, if John McAfee shows up in person, that would be really cool. I know Rondon was and some of his friends, some people online were able to get an interview with him, and that was a hilarious interview to go check out. But John McAfee is kind of a wild individual, so it'll be interesting to see all that. But yeah, it's gonna be a neat event. Let's see, what did you post here? Yeah, you got Vermin Supreme there. Yeah, yeah, he's a really interesting he's an interesting character there. Um, So, anyway, that's what I'm gonna be up to, and yeah, after the show today and all that, I am going to be going back down to the homestead and working on more projects, trying to get that shower fixed up, and it's just gonna be a really simple lean-to structure, and just gonna be let's see if that'll go through. But it's just gonna be a real simple structure that I build so that I can do the whole thermosiphon effect with the copper pipe and all that kind of stuff to try to create my own heated shower. Uh, and then we also got some trees that I'll be looking to uh, start getting set up for planting down at the property. I have some goji berries, and I have some thornless blackberries, um, and we're getting also some elderberry trees as well. So that's going to be going down on my property. So what's going on with these? What's going on with these gifts here? Yeah, Bourbon Supreme. Uh, yeah, he's a funny dude. Yeah, take cold showers and use that for a still. Hey, man, that's not a bad idea, bro. Yeah, yeah, I'd like to be able to. I'd actually like to be able to make my own alcohol. Um, so I will be looking into that. I do know the process for creating mead, and once I get some honeybees, I really plan on using my own mead, and so so definitely use that wood stove to create my meat on. So let's see. Thought it being a still is what made it a man shower, the cowboy shower. Yeah, yeah, right. Uh, it's also it's a cowboy shower that you distill your alcohol with. So so yeah, it may be a cowboy shower still, something like that. Um, but that's just between you and us. That's just between you and me, okay? so so yeah, it'll be good times down at the Tinker Tribe homestead there, and in the future permaculture um, hacker maker space, and continuing to work down there. and just saving up so that I can kind of get a full-time homestead operation going down there and get some products and things like that. Oh, another exciting thing that I got this week from being able to work so close, work in the city and work by that European market was that they were getting rid of one of these refrigerated displays. It was more expensive than they would have had to repair it, so they threw it out, and it's like this nice window display unit that's refrigerated. It can also it's like either refrigerated or heated. It can be, and there's something wrong with the lines for the compressor. So I'm gonna try to fix that up and actually make it into like a little display that I could use on the homestead, and come up with the idea of creating like a cryptocurrency vending machine with it. And so that's one of the ideas. I had Kodak's come on the show and we talked about that a while back, and I'm still planning on creating that into a project. So I was able to pick this thing up this week, and it's a nice like stainless steel enclosure for they were using it for fish. So they had like some ice in there, and they had fresh fish at the market there. And so it's got a way for the back gate to open and close. And so what I want to do is create something so where you create and you send your payment to an app of some kind, and then it's going to unlock it's going to send a signal to, once the payment has been completed, it'll unlock a little solenoid. It'll trigger a solenoid to open up, and you'll be able to open the door and be able to get out whatever's in the little thing. So that'll be kind of like a little prototype for that. And another thing that I'm working, or there's a couple other technologies that I've got going down the line here. One is called the Wave Spot, and the Wave Spot was developed by this guy Ben Peterson, who he found a way to fractionally distill out plastics and convert them from take the waste plastics and convert them into usable diesel fuel. And so I'm taking an online course that he's got put out right now, and I will be looking to build one of these little waste spot devices. So it's pretty much like a benchtop distiller where you can take in waste plastics and you can convert them to usable diesel fuel. And so this is another one of those things that I see is like a distributed production system, is that you have things like these waste spots that can help clean up the waste plastics that are around, and then also convert them into something usable, so usable diesel fuels. And so for anybody out there that wants to go check that out, it's called the Waste Spot, and it's Ben Peterson is the guy who created it. And right now he's you can sign up for the course, and at the end of the course, after you've completed the course, you have an opportunity to, I think, buy one of the devices from them, or the full plans will be released to you so that you can build your own at the end of the course. And so, if anybody's interested in going to check that out, it's a Waste Spot, and Ben Peterson is what you got to type in to go check him out online. And it's a really cool technology, and I think is an important thing on moving into the future and becoming a way to clean up a lot of the waste plastics that are out there. There's a lot of just single-use plastics that are out there that could be put to good use with this technology. And so I encourage you all to go check that guy out, and go check out this guy's invention here. And so yeah, we got Tainted Blood throwing some gifts up there from BoJack Horseman, uh, and Jordan Peterson I see here. So so yeah, go check out the Waste Spot if you want to go look into that kind of stuff. And that's some really interesting technologies that are out there. So uh, they can really help change the future. So um, yeah, I just encourage you guys to yeah do some research into that. And then one of the things that I'm reading right now, and one of the books that I want to recommend in this episode is it's by Kevin Trudeau, and it's called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. And in this book, it talks about a lot of natural cures for different diseases, and goes into the protocols for the natural cures and everything like that. And so yeah, this is a book that I'm reading right now, and I will probably blog about, and uh, called Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About. And so if you're interested in that, go check that out. The author is Kevin Trudeau, and that is something you can go check out. And then uh, the the last episode we talked a little bit about some of the books that were recommended that Robbie put out there as recommendations. One of them was Lost Science by Jerry Vassalatos, and you can find this book. Um, it's put on archive.org. For anybody out there that wants to maybe look into this thing as a um, um, something that you don't necessarily want to go out and buy the book. You can download it as the PDF version on archive.org, and so I'll put that up. Let me see. So I'm gonna grab this link, and I'll put it up in the chat room right here. So for anybody that's interested in going into the rabbit hole of the whole esoteric some of the occulted technologies in the science and occulted technologies there, you can go check that out. Jerry Vassalatos' Lost Science. Uh, so so that's something to go check out. And we're coming up on the end of the show here. We got Crimson Clad coming up next with Steamwave Saturday. I appreciate everybody that's coming to hang out for the show today. Kind of put this one together on the last minute, and just talking about a lot of the stuff that I've got going on. The Anarcho Poco event that's coming up. If anybody's got anybody that they may want to hear from or anything like that, I'll try to get some interviews while I'm down there at the event. And if you want to tell some people to fuck off or whatever, that's fine too. So I'll take your feedback in whatever form it is. But and if you guys have any suggestions for people that you'd like to see me bring on the show, please reach out to me in a DM in Discord or something like that, and tell me somebody that you might want to have on the show, you might want to hear from in an interview and something like that. And that'd be great to hear from you guys, and so check out. So let's see. So let's see. Tainted Blood. Let's see. Small tribes use partying to help the depressed. Their exorcisms are just making the depression a demon, and getting the person moving and feeling a part of the tribe. That's interesting, man. I like that. Crimson Cloud, gonna do a serious steamy show, but serious people are too serious and unhappy today. Well, you know what? The steamy shows are enjoyable, and fuck the unhappy people, and you just do your thing, get the information out. Is what I can say. But no, it's great to have you guys here, and I appreciate everybody's feedback for the shows, and I appreciate you guys coming to hang out every week and listening to what I have to say. I know a lot of some of the stuff that I have to say is a little out there, and I encourage everybody to go and look into what's going on in the world and all of the stuff that I talk about, and don't just take my word for it, and go check it out and make your own conclusions and all that kind of stuff. So So anyway, thank you guys for coming and hanging out, and I appreciate you being here. And stay tuned for Crimson Clad and Steam Wave Saturday that's coming up next. And we'll catch you guys next week for another episode of the Meadows and Makers podcast. And give me a little bit of a second here. And I'm going to play an outro track, the outro track that I have from Divine. It's called Awake, and it's by Divine and Junk Feathers. And we'll catch you guys next week. And thank you for being here. So, yeah, send me your feedback, and I'd love to hear from you guys. And thanks for joining, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace. yeah, I think meme, is that Space Taste? Is that you, or is that yeah, you just found Wim Hof? But yeah, that's awesome. I like Wim Hof a lot. Anyway, here's some extra material because we got to transition into the next show. So thanks again everybody that showed up for the show today. I'm just gonna do a shout out to end the show. We got Tainted Blood, we got Artsy, Crimson Clouds coming up next. We got Inertia, thank you, Lax, Melinda, and Peachy and Rondon. Thank you guys, and stay tuned for Crimson Clad. Peace.